and to the men of Israel, we be come from a far country. Now therefore make ye a league with us. So they basically they lied to him and said, we're from some far country. We heard basically what happened, and we want to make peace with you. And the men of the nation of Israel, this is verse 7. And the men of the nation of Israel, and the men of Israel said unto the Hivites, peradventure ye dwell with us, and how shall we make league with you? And they said unto Joshua, we are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, who are ye, and from whence you come? Excuse me. And they said unto him, from a very far country thy servants are come, because of the name of the Lord thy power, for we have heard of the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt. Now let me just show you again. We have heard of the fame. It's the same word. Okay? It's the same word. We've heard of the report. Alright? We've heard of the rumors. Alright? We've heard of the news. Okay? We've heard of the fame. We've heard of the fame. Alright, let me start there again. It says, and he said unto and they said unto him, from a very far country thy servants are come, because of the name of the Lord thy power, and we have heard of the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt. Okay? Because the news went out. This is verse 10. And all that he did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were beyond Jordan, to Sihon king of Heshbon, and to Og king of Bashan, which was at Ashtaroth. Alright? So these nations know what's up. Okay? At that time right there, the Gibeonites knew, they had news, they heard of report of all the great works that the Most High did to the children of Israel. Alright, and for the children of Israel, and what's the word I'm looking for? How he brought destruction and evil upon those other nations, okay? Whom he's not with those other nations, alright? So now, let's go to 1 Kings. Start at 1. Okay? Just basically going through these scriptures, showing you how these nations know, they know about us, okay? It says here, 1 Kings 10 and 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions. Let's go into it again. I'm going to show you again. Alright? Same word. Alright? A couple of them said Shama, and this one says Shema. Okay? It's talking about a report or a hearing. One of them might, or Salaki. Let me read this again. It says here, hearing, report, says the same thing we read in the one earlier. Alright? To hearing of the ear, they shall render obeisance as soon as they hear my mandate. Fame, rumor, report, or an evil report. Okay? So it's the same thing. Let's read verse 2. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, and with camels that bear spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, and she communed with him all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions, and there was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all of Solomon's wisdom, and all of the house that he built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and of his ascent by which he went up into the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her. And she said unto the king, it was a true report that I had heard in mine own land of thy acts of thy wisdom. Howbeit I believed not the words until I came, and mine eyes had seen, and behold, the half was told to me, thy wisdom and thy prosperity, exceeding the fame which I heard not. Now let me read this. It says again, verse 6, and she said unto the king, it was of a true report which I heard in mine own land. Now I didn't even look this word up, but I'm going to look just see what it says here. It says of a true report. Okay? The word there is dabar. Alright? And it says here, one, speech, word, thing, speech, a saying, a utterance, word, words, business, occupations, matter, case, something, manner by extension. Okay? See what it says here. says words often in Genesis 29:13. Those words. All right, an eloquent man, yada yada yada. All right. Basically, it's saying that she heard there was a report that went out of how great Solomon's kingdom was. Okay, and all the everything that he had, and she went through it. Went through it. How his servants, how they had set up, how the house of the Lord, how it was set up. All right, the temple of the Lord, and she heard of all that. And then when she finally came to see it, she saw that it was true. So she was like, "Damn," you know. So word goes out. Okay, word goes out, and word went out of Solomon's the word the Elder Gabar likes to use his opulence. Okay, his opulence. Word went out of how all the riches and everything that he had. Okay, and it was of a true report. All right. So now let's jump here to First Chronicles. It's First Chronicles 14, and I'll read from 10 to 17. All right. It says, "And David inquired of the Most High, saying, Shall I go up against the Philistines, and wilt thou deliver them into mine hand? And the Lord said unto him, Go up, for I will deliver them into thine hand." Really, I should have read this one first, but it's all good. All right. Um, Verse 11. "So they came up to Baal Perazim, and David smote them there. And David said, The Most High hath broken in upon mine enemies by mine hand, like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore they called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And they had left and when they had left their gods there, David gave a commandment, and they were burnt with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. Therefore David inquired again of the Most High, and the Most High said unto him, Go not up after them, turn away from them, and come again, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And it shall be that when thou shalt hear the sound of the going in the tops of the mulberry trees, then thou shalt go up and out to battle, for the Most High has gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. David therefore did as the Most High commanded him, and they smote the host of the Philistines from Gibeon even unto Gezer. And the fame of David went out into all lands, and the Lord brought fear of him upon all nations." Okay, like I said, I should have read this before I read the account of Solomon, right, to kind of keep it in order, but I mixed it up. But basically, leading up to Solomon, David was going around and destroying all these nations. All right, him and his mighty men and his army. All right, the 37 mighty men and all the rest of his army. All right, they were going to all these nations and breaking them down and breaking them in pieces. All right, and going around killing. All right, and leading up to the time, the 40 years of peace, which Solomon had when he was ruling. Okay, and the fame went out. All these nations knew. All right, all these nations were scared of David. They didn't want to. No. They fought with David, but all these nations heard. They're like, shit. There's this guy David going around killing all these other nations. All right. Hell, even the account of the women when Saul got mad. Basically, how when he was with Saul. This was before he was king. David, that is. He was going out. They were going out to war, and when they came back to the city, you had these women basically, because they're obviously checking out the soldiers, and one of them said Saul have killed his thousands, but then the others said David has killed his tens of thousands. Okay, so these women knew what was up. Fame went to them too, which is well, David had himself a lot of women, right? And this is repetitive, but it's the same word. Okay, it says in the fame. All right, really, this is Shem. This isn't what we just heard, Shammai. This is Shem, which is talking about the name. All right, but what does that name have with it? This is one name, or how you would say it is Sham, not Sham, Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, it says name, reputation, fame, glory. A name as the designation of the Most High.